I think they know how to play big games. Maybe one of the maybe the only organization that I'm aware of that has had that number of big games in the last, I don't know, call it 10 years or something, since Brian's been in charge, really. So they understand big games, but I think the biggest reason is they're just a good team. They have a lot of good players who understand the moment, and they understand also it's a small factor. They know how to play on turf. I'm not sure weather is a big factor, but I just think it's a very good team, and the experience they have in big games, coupled with the factor that teams generally who play on turf at home have good home records, and so turf definitely plays a role, but a small role. No, I don't think that way. In this team, I mean, I'm think the only player still here would be Carlos. In 2019, I have to go through the roster again to see who actually was here. So that's it. Yeah, thank you. So I'm not sure that's the right word to describe it. Look, it's always competitive against them. We always want to win. So do they. And I think you'll see an excellent game. At the very least, you'll see a very intense game and competitive game. Hopefully with good football, but the players on the field will decide that. I think how I would describe Seattle and how I describe them is having a very experienced team who've played a lot of big games. I think we are in that category, improving greatly. And this season was a big step in that direction. I think this team understands what's expected of them. We saw it on the training pitch today. The intensity, the focus in each moment becomes a little greater. And this game will be decided by a few moments. Which team has more focus in the other opponent's box or than your own box, possibly in between. So it's a game of, I think we'll decide it'll be on a small couple of moments, and we're preparing for those moments. Well, I would give you a similar answer. I understood the question. I think we are gaining ground on the experience in these big games, and this season was a big step in that direction, meaning this group understands what they need to do in these big moments. And we are fully prepared for Sunday and hopefully what comes after that. Rest and rhythm has been two of the most used words describing LFC this year, and maybe congested schedule as well. So I think we're fine, whether we have a lot of games or we don't have a lot of games. Due to what we've been through this season, we're prepared for pretty much any situation, and this will be no different. Everybody is still arriving. We've had a few guys who are still coming back today, but everybody is healthy and reported in good spirits and ready to go. Sure, I care about it. If I had a choice, I wouldn't do it. I don't think it's a great look. I don't think it's the right feel. But it's part of our league, and it's been a part of the league since day one, and it's something we accept, and we will try to master on Sunday. But if you're asking me in a hypothetical world, would I want to play on turf? Absolutely not. Your question is, why are they so solid defensively? In other words, well, first and foremost, they have good players. They have a defensive concept that works with the players they have, and they work together as a group. Everybody defends as a collective, whether they're higher or lower. They are compact and they are difficult to break down. They are athletic, which helps as well, and experienced. And so I think it's one of the teams, I would put us in that category as well, who also focuses on the defensive side of the ball and recruits players who are good defenders, not just good attackers. And I just think Seattle is a very well-balanced team, physically, tactically, and technically. Well, last year, it's a question more for them. I'm not going to sit here and analyze their season and what went wrong last season. I think Brian probably did that last year. So I'm not on the inside and not privy to the training sessions and all the injuries they had. So I can't comment on that. Yeah, certainly. Getting some rest mentally is important. Playing games week in and week out or multiple games in a week really takes a toll mentally on players. To be able to focus that many times in a season and that quick a turnaround is hard work, not just physically but also mentally. So, the rest was how we treated that break first and foremost. That's the most important component. Keeping players in rhythm. You've built up a very good level of fitness throughout the entire season, and we wanted to maintain that at the same time, not overloading players. So it's always a balance act. But thankfully, we have a fantastic medical and performance team at LAFC who guide us coaches in making the right decisions as far as loading players goes. And that's what I see. I see players this week peaking at the right moment, and we'll be physically, mentally, and hopefully tactically ready for Sunday. I think there's always anytime a player steps on the field, there's a risk, but we certainly don't fear that. I think that's the wrong mentality to have going into a game from a player's perspective. Certainly, you need to go and play as normal and 100%, or you could pick up an injury. So, we as coaches are the same. When players deserved the right to play for their nations in big games, and it is obviously a credit to them, but also to LAFC. And so we're proud to see our players go play a big role in their nations' World Cup qualifiers or Nations League qualifiers, or for whatever competition it may be. So we're proud to see them go, but happier to see them back here in LA.